Dua Lipa on Magic in the morning at 8:35. Mike Barrett in the studio, and he's with us Tuesdays at this time. We talk good policies with Barrett Insurance. Mike, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning.
What's in your cup?
Java.
Yes. Ta-da. Here you go.
Little French roasts.
I hope you enjoyed the day off yesterday, and good to have you in here. Mike, you've been with us now for...
Too long. I know. I get the hint, Jeff. I get the hint.
Stop it. No, Mike's been with us here for a couple of years, and I've learned an awful lot. We know you have, too, about the insurance industry, from renter's insurance all the way up to homeowner and business insurance needs. And common denominator out there this time of year, a lot of folks get a tax refund. They put it towards a new vehicle. And we've had chats in the past about some misconceptions about insurance and new rigs. I think it's time for another one of those conversations.
Sure. I think it's a great idea. It's always worth repeating. So let's say you've decided to go out and trade vehicles. All right. So it's a Saturday or a Friday at 6 p.m. Your insurance agent is probably not available, probably not open. So what do you do, right? So many people wonder, like, well, God, I have to have insurance on this vehicle. It's the weekend. I want to drive it. So the easiest thing to remember, there's a rule, all right? If you are trading a vehicle that has, and I hate using this term, but I will for this example, full coverage, all right? Full coverage meaning you have comprehensive and collision in addition to the compulsory liability required by the state of Vermont. There you go, right? So if you have at least one vehicle on your policy that has that, and you're trading or even acquiring a new vehicle during off hours for your insurance agent, you're covered.
What?
So,
well, hold on. I did that once back in the day, and I just kept my fingers crossed all weekend long that nothing was going to happen. So
there's a grace period.
Okay.
There's a grace period. So, when you're trading vehicles, you can read state statute and all the laws and look for the specific guidelines. I don't go by those, all right, because I err on the side of caution. So I say report it, the sooner the better. But I think you have like up to 7 to 14 business days to report a newly acquired vehicle. And I don't think you ever have to technically report, don't ever not do this, a traded vehicle, because you have coverage, because the vehicle insurance will transfer. But of course you want ID cards and you want to be paying for the insurance for the vehicle in which that you have. And don't test the trading thing. Don't test it, because I don't want to hear about it, because it could be slippery slope, because insurance companies still rule the roost in how they handle things, right? But you have a grace period. So many people getting a vehicle on the weekend go, well, I guess I better buy a new insurance policy. And sometimes you're at the dealership and they're telling you need one. You don't. All right. Now, here's the other side. You have a liability-only vehicle, and that's all you have. And you acquire or trade said liability-only vehicle for a new vehicle that requires, quote-unquote, full coverage. There's no grace period there. You have no full coverage because you had a liability-only vehicle before you got the one that needs comprehensive and collision coverage.
Okay, I was going to ask, is that because that they don't know the value of your new vehicle, but so it's liability only, but it's still
the way the
coverage.
Policy reads is the broadest coverage available on your policy will automatically extend to the newly acquired vehicle for a period of time. So that's why if you have liability only, well, that's your broadest coverage. So what I've actually had people do in the past is if they have a liability only vehicle, they're going, hey, Mike, I'm thinking about getting a different vehicle. Well, let me ask you, is this different vehicle going to require more than just liability? Why? Yes, it probably will. Let's put comprehensive and collision on the vehicle you have right now. And that way, if you're trading after hours, you now can say that the broadest coverage on your policy would include comprehensive and collision, so you would meet the requirements of getting a new vehicle.
All right, so listeners understand, liability covers the cost of damage to the other vehicle if you...
And bodily injury to the other person.
Okay.
Yes.
But full coverage will cover not only that, and this is, again, quote, full coverage.
Right.
I saw you look at me, okay. But then we'll also cover the replacement of your...
Not replacement. but damage
repair
to your vehicle.
your vehicle. Okay.
Some policies will do replacement. Now that you bring that up, and that's worthy of a discussion as well. Some companies have endorsements out there. With one company, it's called the VIP endorsement. One's called the repair replace endorsement. It can vary from company to company as to whether they have it or not, or what the name of it is. But for many companies, the first couple of years of a vehicle, you can add that specific coverage. It doesn't come automatically. And during the period that you have that coverage, which usually it fades away in like 3 to 5 years, you would get a brandy new vehicle if you were in a total loss.
Okay, so not an LKQ. Well, yeah, LKQ, like kind and quality.
Yeah,
okay.
like kind of quality, but new year. Think about it. If you have a 2021, I don't know, let's just pick a Ford Explorer, all right, and you get this coverage, and in 2023, you total it. Well, guess what? You can get a 2023 with some companies. It's dependent on what you have for coverage.
But that's why you have that conversation to find out.
Exactly. So let's talk about full coverage and why I hate it so much, okay? Real quick, because I think we're on a good pace here this morning.
And I think I know where we're going, but I'm going to let you do it. Go ahead.
All right. So if you think you have full coverage, you think that everything is covered under the sun, right? I mean, I would. I mean, hey, I had full coverage. Everything's covered, right? So think about the things that are available in most auto policies that you do not have. So you may or may not have towing and labor. You may or may not have rental reimbursement. They have tapes coverage. Are you kidding me? You can have extended coverage on the audio equipment in your car. Do you have that? I don't. You can have accessory coverage. All right. So let's say you have a permanently attached equipment to your vehicle. Do you have that covered? Because that's not considered in the VIN of the vehicle. That's custom equipment that needs to be specifically added. That's not on it. So if you don't have that, you don't have full coverage.
That would be like a toolbox in the back of the truck, a back rack, a
snowplow when mounted.
Okay. Also like a fiberglass camper or tonneau cover and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, there are things that become permanently attached. And so when they're attached, they're considered part of the vehicle value. And when they're not attached, such as the case of a snowplow, it becomes personal property. Or if you're plowing commercially, it's business personal property.
All right, so we get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to inject some humor in your mind.
I love humor.
Okay.
I need after a 3-day weekend. I don't want to
tape coverage. Most of our listeners out there don't even know what a tape is.
I know. I love it.
Do cars even have CD players anymore?
I don't think I don't have one. I have CDs, but I don't have a CD player.
So there you go. So the important denominator, the common denominator with all of our conversations is to have that conversation.
Right. These are always general in nature. So keep that in mind when you're listening. If you hear a nugget that goes, ooh, I'm going to hold on to that, check into it by calling your agent, or you can call us, 748-5224. You can visit us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
Mike, always great to have you in here. Thanks for being part of the morning crew.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up, music from Kesha, Magic in the Morning. Your